Hi, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor Hamza. Thanks for checking me out. Today, it's not night yet. I'm gonna have a discussion with you about something that just occurred to me the other day. Today is October 27th already. Wow, time's flying, right? I was thinking a lot about it. It's very, very interesting how we get closer to the sun and time like speeds up for us because we're closer to the sun and the gravity and time equals time equals mass, and then but then on the other side of the planet, time is different, so they have different seasons, and then they're saying the days get longer. So how could it's like, how could we be at the exact point circling the sun where it's longer on one side, it's shorter on the other side, exactly? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? So it's impossible. It's impossible. I think there would be a little wobble or something like that, where time would be a little bit different. So the days get longer on one side versus shorter on the other. So we can't be, it just doesn't equal out, And I have a video before about evolution being fake. Are we in the dome? It's crazy. It's crazy. And evolution's not real. And watch that video because that's definitely true. Anyway, I'm like of the spirit. I'm like a scientist mindset, and to think these things just drives me nuts. But anyway, it wasn't what I'm gonna talk about with you today. Almost like a confession today. I hate that. Oh, this is bad. This is rough. This is like scraping your soul stuff. So you could say that what we're going through right now, phase whatever, it's like scraping the soul again, getting rid of all those sins. So I will tell you a story. And this is painful for me to tell. So, it doesn't make me look good. It's like anything I go through is like horribly painful and horrible. And then I don't want to share it because it makes me look bad, and it's like really painful. But I told myself I would. So I'm going to do this one, and then hopefully I'll get the strength to bring other ones, out and tell you. It just sucks. Oh, this one sucks. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to try not to cry during it. So anyway, my phone's getting filled with, Dad, it's hard for me to post these videos. See, I'm avoiding telling you. All right. Grab your cojones and tell it. So I was meditating a lot, and my frequencies are really high. I know that. And then I was speaking with who I'm really enjoying conversations with, a new Facebook friend. And we figured out she said I'm an INFJ. And I said, yeah, I've been hearing that over the years, but it's all just BS because everybody wants to be an INFJ. Everybody can't be an INFJ. Little did I know the people I'm interfacing with on Facebook certainly can be all INFJs because that's the frequency of people around, and it's less than 1% of the population. But I have I have 2,000 Facebook friends. I don't have the population. So yeah, we're all talking about the same thing. So sure. So I was like, everybody wants to be an INFJ. So I took the personality test, and I took it again and took it again. I really answered as best I could. And turns out I'm an INFJ. I'm also type O negative blood. I'm also a Pisces. So I have all these kind of traits, right? So, and all the other categories you put somebody in, like for that spiritual category, I like land. I'm like right in the middle. You know what I mean? And I didn't like take that in consideration when I started doing what I'm doing. It's just what I'm doing. Anyway, so I read through the INFJs and said Hitler was an INFJ, Gandhi was an INFJ, Jesus and all that. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me. I mean, I keep saying I'm like these guys. I just couldn't. You can't have the verbiage, the tools to talk about it. So to get to the point, so I was up. I woke up. It was 2 days ago. I woke up at 4:44 in the morning, and the frequency I just knew was really high. I mean, I could hear it. It was just really loud. And I said, I just felt like knowing that I'm an IFJ and like everything. I said, okay, I prayed powerful as it could. I said, I'm the second coming right here, and I just couldn't sleep. I was thinking about it, and finally I went to sleep. Here's where it gets interesting, right? So I had this dream. So in the dream, I have a family member's young, so the family member's with me, next to me in the dream, and we go down. It's like I'm in like a subway, and I go down these escalators. There's these two escalators. It's like we're inside a building. It's like a subway, but it's a long basement or whatever. And then I go in there, and then there's like these streams underground. So I step over a stream, like streams running on ground is the floor, but it's kind of dirty. I don't know. So I step over one stream, and we're kind of holding hands. Let's walking. Yeah, holding hands. We were holding hands. And I think about it. So I went across another stream and another stream, and then it got like deep, And I had these sneakers on that were certain white sneakers, I remember, and they're permeable. So I'm walking in the stream, but I'm floating. I'm like walking on the water. So I was like, okay. And I'm like walking, but my feet aren't getting wet. So I was like, that was the thing. It wasn't that I'm walking on the water, right? That wasn't like, I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, I said, I'm holding hands. I said to young boy, I said, and my feet aren't getting wet. And we're just walking around, and little boys kind of looking at me like, oh. So did that for a bit. And I said, my feet aren't getting wet. I remember saying that. And they were like, So we walked back down, and I said, better get out of this water, I guess, before my feet get wet. But the boy was kind of surprised, I guess, that my feet didn't get wet. I don't know. But I didn't sink. That's the thing. I was just walking on the water, like, no big deal. And then I got out, and we walked back, a little bit. And the boy went to touch my chest, touch my heart. And I've been in situations where I had evil spirits that I didn't know were evil spirits that tried to touch my heart, and talked about Jesus with them, and then they were repelled and they disappeared. So this time, it was a reflex. When the boy went to touch my heart, I went with my fist, I punched him right in the chest. And you know what? I was shocked because I was like, nothing happened. The little boy was like, it didn't do anything. He just looked at me like, come on, let me touch your heart. So I was like, okay. So I let the boy touch my heart, and it was the smallest, gentlest, like the lightest touch. And the little boy said, you have a dirty heart. And that was it. And I woke up, and I got up, and yeah, that was my morning. I wanted to get to work early that day, but I ended up going in on time, but I didn't get in early because I woke up in the middle, and I got up at 4:44. And then I thought about what the little boy said, which was an angel that came to me later, that came in my dream, that said, it was 4:44, and he said that I have a dirty heart. So I never heard that phrase before. I don't know. I knew it wasn't good, so I Googled it, and the first thing is this. It's like, first thing is a lecture that this guy had. It's an old lecture. You should really Google it. I did. And just type in your browser, you have a dirty heart, and it comes up. And it's a couple pages. I read it. I keep reading it. It's like you have sins, in your heart. And it's like what I was saying before about all the different things about having like temptations come to you, and before the temptations rise up, you like nip it in the bud. It's having that heart that's not you're I'm definitely in the world, and I have sin. I have sin in me. So here I am having a spiritual scientist channel, and trying to be a leader for people and healing people, and having sins in my heart. So it just I got in the shower that morning, and I cried a little bit, and then I cried later on the way to work in the car, thinking about it. Like, I hate having sin. Like, it drives me crazy. And then I think that's why, like, angels don't answer. A lot of times God doesn't answer you because you can't psychologically take it. Like, a lot of people can't psychologically fathom even having sin. Like I just lost a Facebook friend. She's gender fluid, and I said everybody has problems. You're not making fun of everybody. She said, you think I'm wrong. I'm like, well, everybody. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm trying to be perfect. I'm trying, and we're all trying to be, I'm trying to let go of these things. So what I'm saying is that, I said, and I know the angels heard me when I said I'm the second coming. Like, then they sent an angel to evaluate me. It was a test. So the angel took me down these escalators. So here's my dream. We came down these escalators, and when we went from a higher vibrational frequency, the angel was there, right? And lowered itself to me and walked with me in the basement, which is probably my highest level, but the angel's the basement, right? We're in a common ground. And then we walked across the streams. So the streams were faith. And then we got into the deep water, and I was walking on the water. So that's something, right? And then I didn't sink. I just walked on the water. Like, oh, my feet aren't getting wet. Like, blah. And then, but when it came to having, sins in your heart, like it's having a heart that, the attachments of the world. And I thought, being here, I did so much meditation. I know I got to an enlightened state. I know, not having thoughts anymore, and getting, controlling my mind and all these things. But the moral to the story is Jesus. Jesus is definitely the moral to the story. And I'm sorry if you don't. I'm not sorry, but if you don't believe, it's not that I believe anything. I just know, Like when you have these spirits come to you, and you say Jesus, they go away. So, and I'm trying my best. But what I'm saying to you is, it's to have a what do you call it, repentant heart, to have that heart to to be Jesus, will heal your sins, and just to forgive yourself. But to find forgiveness is one thing, but there's a whole other layer. There's a whole other deeper layer about how the mind works. And if you finally get forgiven and you forgive yourself, and yeah, you're in a clean slate, but then you go, but you see something in the world, and then that sin just like grabs you. I think for me personally, I'm very worried about finances. I've been very worried, and just to release that to God, those worries, we're called not to worry. I think watching the video when I went on, after I said I had a dirty heart, in watching the video and worrying, all the time about my, finances right now, because I'm, busted flat broke. I'm in debt, which is scary, and it's a bad time for me. So, I've been praying a lot about that, and just to have the angel say that I have a dirty heart. And I think for me, the reason is that I was worried about my financing, and then you're going to die one day anyway, right? It's between now and when you die is when things, you're living your life, so you can't live in a worry. So you have to just like let go. And this is my partly confession. I went to church today. I went afterwards and asked the priest. I said, I'd like to do a confession, to just get that one, well, I'm telling you, basically, is off my chest. And he said, okay, wait 10 minutes. And I waited. And then he came back, and he looked like his eyes like went over me, but went like through me. And it's like he didn't know I was there. He didn't see me. And then he left, and I was like, where'd he go? And then he wasn't there to hear my confession. So I said, the devil hit me, It's like the devil doesn't want me to do these videos. He doesn't want me to come on here and tell you, I have a dirty heart. He doesn't want me to do that. He wants me to come on here and tell you how great I am, and that, blah, blah, blah. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing the opposite. I'm putting myself down right now, and saying I have a dirty heart, and I'm trying my best. I really am, to get rid of all the sin. It's just like, like I was saying the other day in a video, it's like you start to feel holy, and then it's like you have a mental breakdown. It's so, it's so hard to get to that point. And then people don't even want to acknowledge sin. A lot of people are saying, oh, sin's not real. And I just right before this, just was messaging a person. She's gender fluidity, gender fluid. She said, I have, she said, how dare you try to make me feel bad about my gender identity? I said, we all have problems. I'm not saying I don't have a problem. I'm saying you have a problem. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just pointing it out. If it's the truth, it's the truth. And then, I'm really trying to get rid of this sin. And, we all have problems. I try to be like Jesus. That's the whole enchilada, right? I mean, that's what I always wanted to be like. I mean, isn't that what we're called to be like? Jesus. So I'm trying to be like Jesus. And I said, hey, I got to that point. I'm pretty sure I'm doing distance healing. I'm healing people of illnesses. I'm casting out demons. I mean, I'm doing it. I said, I'm pretty sure I'm there. And I prayed about it, and then the angel's like, I punched that angel hard in the chest. Not a dent, nothing. The lightest touch touched me, decimated me. So I've been pretty destroyed over it, which is good. Thanks. And I'm out here now telling you how bad I am, but trying to be an example. Teaching is being an example for other people, and being strong enough to stand in front of you guys and tell you, hey, I made mistakes. Obviously, I probably am still making mistakes. I'm definitely trying my best to get towards holiness, and it's not, for me. It should be really easy, and there's maybe, I feel like I'm so close. Here I'm walking on water, I'm healing people, I'm just like, but it's that little bit, that narrow gate, you have to get through, that narrow door, and I thought I was there. And thank you, God and Jesus and the angel. Thank you for showing me I wasn't there. It's important. So, I'm just going to talk about what's real. And I'm not trying to build myself up in front of you or make me better than everyone else. I'm just trying to be real. And it was devastating. It's still devastating, I mean, I went to church today. I started crying a little bit. But it's what's needed. We need this cleansing. I need the cleansing. I need to find the place in my mind. I need to scrape out all that sin. And you and I both, we need to get to that point where we could be that way. I always think about how I was when I was 8 years old. I was so innocent, and now it's just you tell a dirty joke or you listen to a dirty joke, now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't tell that joke. If I'm an example, I can't tell that dirty joke. I can't swear. I can't, you really got to get into it and be that way. And I was like that. I really was. And then, maybe I let it slide a little bit by telling too many, trying to be funny. In the world, if you want to be liked by the world, be like the world. And, the way to be free of all the sin is to be dead to the world, and to be rejected. And this is me being rejected. So, feel free to give this a thumbs down. I understand. And here I am, being this spiritual teacher in front of you and being full of, having a dirty heart. It's not cool. But I don't trust the guys that are in front of me watching these videos and, saying that they're holy. I don't believe in that. I don't believe them. So it's the way it is. Anyway, I hope you learned something from this. Like, subscribe, share. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it's just me making myself look bad, which is probably what it is. But that's okay. Therapy. It's maybe this is just my cheap way of doing therapy. But I hope somebody gets something out of this. But we definitely need to get rid of, I'm having this extra baggage. I can't abide sin anymore. I just can't. And the thing is that I talked to another person real quick, I'll tell you this, that said, the angel wouldn't I wouldn't get this lesson. I wouldn't have this assessment if it wasn't possible. Here's the important point: for me to get to that point, to be free. If it wasn't possible in my life to get free, then it would just be cruelty to tell me this, to show me this, to give me this vision and dream. It'd just be cruel. So that's the message. The message is that you too can get free from sin now in this lifetime. You don't have to wait till you're, 50 years old, or 80 like me, or 80 years old, or 100 years old, and then, in that the preacher doing the when I Googled it, he said that we're like in Gulliver's Travels when he's a giant and all the Lilliputians are there and they tie him down. He says it way better than I can say it. He's amazing. He says that you're tied down by the sin, and each one is tied to your hair and tied to your body, all these sins. And then you struggle. You say, oh, okay, I'll cut one. I'll cut another rope. And now you're like 50 and you cut, let's say, 5,000 ropes tying you down. You're tied down fast to the earth. And now you got to be, 70 years old. Instead of 5,000 strings, you have 4,900 strings. But you still have these 100 strings tying you down, So I don't think we could do it on our own. I think we need help. So I'm in that point in my life where I'm just praying for help to get rid of the last of it and figure it out. The Holy Spirit is going to help me, I'm sure, to untie all those strings. So I hope you get that in your life as well. Thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, share. Peace out. Bye-bye.